Humidus podcast.
Welcome, everybody, to the Humidus podcast once again with your boy Hammer. And sitting not at my side, but almost virtually at my side, my dear friend and co-host in this podcast. It is
Yada does it. Steph here.
It is Dio himself. And now for today's topics. We just jump right in, and today we're going to talk about a very interesting game that's been in beta access and now early access for some time. It's not released yet, but it's a very interesting title, to me at least. It is Satisfactory.
Yes. And what a game. The Spaghetti Simulator.
The Spaghetti Simulator. I absolutely, we need to mention the kind of precursor game to Satisfactory. I don't know, at least an inspiration is a game called Factorio.
Yeah.
Immensely popular game. It's one of my favorite games, like bar none. And that game is a old school 2D style game where you build a factory based on some tools and rules. And that's exactly what Satisfactory is, except this one is 3D first person.
And yeah, and I think this one has more of I think the exploration element is a little bit more hands-on and like more.
Yeah, it's a little bit more focus on like the environment and exploration, and kind of finding new resources in alien life and that kind of jazz.
Yeah.
And the premise is very similar in both games. You're gonna in Factorio, the goal is to build like a spaceship and get off the planet you're on. You're on an alien planet, and in Satisfactory, it's basically to mine the planet and produce goods for this evil giant space corporation.
Yeah.
So that's like the plot of the game, and it's co-op, so you can play with, I don't know, is it 4 players?
I think it's up to 4, yeah.
Yeah. And it's a very large world, actually, huge.
And there's not only one either. There's several biomes you can choose between as well, with varying difficulties.
Yeah. But the thing with the biomes is that they're all interconnected in one map.
Are they?
Yeah. So you can kind of choose where to start, but later in the game you can traverse all the biomes. They're all in one huge map.
Well, so if you listeners just heard the sound of a nuclear bomb going off in the distance, that was my mind being blown just now.
Yeah, that's kind of cool, right? That you can the like huge world that you can traverse.
Yeah,
and you can basically gather resources from the other side of the planet, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, if you really, let's say, put 1,000 hours into this game, you'll have supply lines stretching that far. And I think,
I mean, there was this guy with 1,000 hours already. I saw. Let's just see here. We'll give him a shout out. His name is I'm Kibitz. Go subscribe to I'm Kibitz guy.
Oh man, 1,000 hours.
Because that's a major achievement. 1,000 hours in that game.
Yeah, that is some dedication.
That's fucking insane, yo. But still, it's like it's a very addictive game that you can sink a lot of hours into.
Yeah, for sure.
And if some people really like get caught in a game like this because it's like right for them, and then they'll suddenly be like, yeah, I'm 100, 200, 300 hours in.
Yeah.
So it's a cool game.
Graphics are good too. I know.
Very good, like surprisingly good. And I think that was a focus for them.
Yeah.
Because I remember like very very early when Satisfactory was like announced. The kind of the gimmick was the 3D, that it's basically like Factorio in 3D.
Yeah,
But the game, it's a little bit less complicated than Factorio.
yeah, I would imagine.
Uh, but I mean, it's not possible to be as efficient because it's a 3D. I mean, you can't be as organized
Yeah,
in Satisfactory. Well, you can be, but you need to invest a lot more time in order to be as efficient
yeah, and you
as in
need to. I
Factorio.
guess you really need to. Once you get the jetpack and stuff like that, when you can really get more of a bird's eye view, I suppose it's
Yeah, then
easier
it's
to
a
do
little
all
bit
this.
easier. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, of course, and you absolutely can build like the same type of complexity, but it's a lot more time and effort into doing that. But it's still a really cool game. Did you ever play Factorio?
I never did. I heard
No.
you speak very highly of it. Some of my colleagues played it actually, and they love it. And
Yeah.
but it was like this is one of those games where I completely understand why people love it, but it's not really my cup of tea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I mean, I can tell that it's lovingly crafted, and I love the aesthetic of it. The 2D graphics and everything is like it looks really nice, and
Yeah. I love that too. But yeah, like the thing is, the my point here is like the coal factories and like the water pumps and all that stuff.
mm-mm.
All of that is like exactly like Factorio, and the smelters, the like um, manufacturing machines,
Yeah,
basically that put like one part and another part together. The efficiency, like the slug kind of overcharge
mm.
battery. That's in Factorio. That's like an efficiency module. You can craft some modules that alter the behavior of your factories or the manufacturing machines rather.
I mean, I see. I mean, there are some concepts like that in Satisfactory too, right? I mean, the overclocking thing you can do, I know, and
Yeah, that's yeah, that was my point. You can overclock with the slug battery,
yeah, yeah,
the power cell, or whatever it's called.
yeah. And something I found really neat is like at first I was, because the first maybe let's say 10 hours or something, depending on
Yeah,
your efficiency of the game, you're basically just in your factory, like your beginner factory, and you're just like starting to automate everything. But once you get to a certain point, it kind of, once you can, let's say just about around the time when you get coal fuel, when you can
yeah,
automate that process too, so you don't have to constantly get the biofuel, you can start leaving the factory a bit more, and then you can explore. And like the thing is, at first I was a bit worried, like, what are the rewards for exploring except for the slugs? But
yeah,
it turns out you find these like crashed pods and everything that has potential
yeah,
blueprints for alternate materials that have like different um, properties, and they're like alternative versions of already existing stuff. and
yeah.
and like most of them are better
Hmm.
than the ones you craft naturally. So I thought that was pretty neat, like to collect those things, and you actually get rewarded for exploring the world as well. Well, that was really
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
I love that shit.
yeah. I mean, that's really cool. And in Factorio, that's not really a thing. The only thing that you explore the outside world for is resources.
Yeah.
So it's basically just to get more or different resources. So maybe to go out and like kill an alien colony,
Yeah.
and yeah, or yeah,
Exterminatus.
exterminatus, very very much so. Because the thing in Victoria, there's like a dynamic that the more you pollute, the more the aliens attack you, and they will kind of seek you out.
Yeah.
Uh, and in Satisfactory, it's more like a natural, like Earth like biology. The animals aren't really aggressive unless you walk up to them and threaten them. Like they won't kind of seek you out and attack you.
And once that happens, all you do is you're just asking your the Vine Lords up in the Megacorp. You're asking like, "Hey, what are we supposed to do? Are we just gonna kill off this entire colony?" And then they respond with, "Some may question your right to destroy 10 billion people. They also understand, though, that you have no right to let them live in exterminatus extremis."
Yeah, that's right. That is very right. And it's a hell of a job too, because you're basically bashing them with like some taser.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, it's
yeah,
Satisfactory,
good
yeah.
luck with that. It's gonna take some time to exterminate every living organism on the planet with that.
But I mean,
But I
yeah,
yeah,
go
I
on.
think you can get better weapons. I got an taser club
Yeah.
eventually, and then I got a rebar gun.
A rebar gun. That sounds pretty horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty horrible. It's not really good,
Oh,
it's
I thought,
okay, but
yeah. No, I was just thinking like being shot by a gun that fires rebar rods. That sounds fucking terrible. Like
yeah,
an
I mean, yeah,
experience.
like I don't want to experience that, but you gotta kind of load the report one by one in the gun,
Oh,
um, so it's kind of slow. I would prefer like something more deadly, but I mean, you can't get too overpowered either because the like basic fauna are not really that threatening.
yeah. I mean, there are some of them that are a bit like scary though, like the big
The big
four-legged
bull
ones
thing.
that fire the projectiles at you.
Yeah, I mean, there are two types of projectile firing enemies. There's like one small and one larger one,
Yeah, the
right?
larger one.
And the larger one is quite tough, but you can still kill it. If you kite around and if you're if you have some fruit on you.
Yeah, yeah. I
You
think
heal
that's the
by
key
eating
word.
fruit,
Yeah, you heal
basically,
by
and nuts.
and the spiders too. They're pretty scary.
Yeah, they can gang up on you in like a tight corner
Yeah.
in a cave or something and kill you quite fast.
Did
But
you
if
meet the
they're
big
like
one?
one by one, sorry,
Did you meet the big spider as well?
no, never met a big spider. Are they
Yeah,
big
that
spiders?
one
I
that one
don't
fucked
know.
me up.
No, I definitely want at least a machine gun. A flamethrower would be preferable, but when I meet
Yeah,
that guy,
I mean, like you know, my first experience with the game was essentially like that, right? So,
yeah,
I mean, I don't know if
if you
did I
were,
mention it on the last podcast?
maybe I can't remember.
Oh, whatever. Nobody listens anyway. Here we go. So, but yeah, I started the game and then I was like taking my sweet time finding a spot to start, and then I ended up in a cave. Hopefully, like
Yeah,
hoping that it would lead to the top of a waterfall, the top side of it, so that I could like maybe start a base up there. And the normal path up there was blocked by gas, and then I met these lovely spiders, and I killed them. It was okay. It was okay.
yeah,
Uh, but I didn't bring much fruit, so my health wasn't
no,
exactly
gotta
stellar
bring
at
some
the
fruit.
end. And then I meet this fucking giant version of those spiders. And thing is, this spider has this other attack, which is kind of like a ground pound, which is like
Mm,
AOE, and he just demolished my ass with it. So yeah,
yeah,
I haven't returned to that cave since. Maybe I will in the future with you know
with a
extreme
bit more
prejudice
jazz. Yeah,
and weaponry. Yeah,
with a Mark 4 power armor, maybe, or something like that.
yeah, that sounds about right.
But yeah, so Satisfactory is like a cool. What is it? What do you call it? Organizational producing, crafting, super mega factory game.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, yeah, that's the definition.
Yeah,
Everyone's gonna use it.
yeah, that sums it up quite nicely.
Yeah, but if you like that type of game, it's absolutely recommended.
Many hours of gameplay in this one.
What type of like rating symbol are we gonna have on this podcast? Are we gonna give like 3 Ks out of minus 1K. or are we gonna give like 3 thumbs up? It's gonna be a 3 thumbs up game, or do you want to have like percentage? Maybe it's gonna be
10.2 ducks out of 15 possible dolphins.
yeah. I mean, yeah, we could definitely have something like that, but we can also have like uh K's or something.
K. Well, we'll come back to that. For now, I guess we should rate it out of amount of yada yada daze out of kono dio ga.
Okay, so that's basically good, right?
Yeah. Yes. It's a very unexplored,
How many
very
the
intangible
worlds?
system.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on a bit.
Wait, but
Uh,
okay, let's just give it a number score for now. What would you rate it out of let's start with 10. We'll move to K later when it's
okay,
developed.
so out of 10, I would give it maybe 7, 8 ish. It's right in that ballpark.
And that's the current state of the game. So,
Yeah, that's maybe I'm factoring in the potential also in
oh,
that
okay.
assessment.
Okay.
So it's a clear 7 now, maybe. Maybe not 8, but the potential for an 8 is still in there, if they just polish it a little bit up and
Mm,
expand it a little bit more.
right.
They probably will.
Oh, yeah.
So,
All right.
but
So,
yeah, absolutely good. And you?
yeah, around the same. Let's,
Mhm.
yeah, a 7.5 sounds about right.
7.5. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's like smack in between. It's a solid title as is, and who knows, with some expanded features and maybe some end goal.
Mm,
And
mm.
but the thing is that it's ripe for potential to just like fucking shove it full of stuff to produce and items to create and all that. It's like the
Yeah,
potential for expanding it is so big.
absolutely. You can like research forever and have like a trillion different tech levels.
Yeah, I mean, it should be easy for a developer too to just like, oh yeah, for this content update, we're just like, and then just sprinkle in new shit all the time, kind of like they did with No Man's Sky, because that game is actually quite solid and a vastly different game than it started out as. Um,
Yeah,
they can
I'll have
probably
to
easily
take
do
your
that here
word
too.
for it. Did
Yeah,
you did you play it? Did you re-download it or whatever?
I have not re-downloaded, but I've been following the updates and what's been in them, and I've
Mhm.
looked at some YouTube videos that are like updated reviews, and the feedback has been pretty positive. It's a
Yeah, I know. I
immensely
tried. I
different.
did that. I re-downloaded it and tried it once more.
Oh, you did? Well, when was that?
Yeah, about a year ago, maybe.
Mm-mm.
Maybe a little bit less, like 8 months ago or something.
And what's the impression now?
No, it was just I don't know. I think I didn't give it like a fair chance
Yeah.
because I gave up fairly soon because the formula was so similar.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it was, but it was something that just I think it was the interface that was it was still like a bit laborious. You just couldn't just didn't flow, just
Mm.
didn't vibe with me. But I think that it definitely is a lot better. I mean, I trust all the good positive feedback from people, but it was just something that, I tried it, I gave it a second chance, and I think that I fatigued out a little bit too soon.
Yeah, yeah. But that's a fair thing though. I just like thought it was a lot more expanded and more of a full game now than when it
Yeah,
was released.
I think that there's a lot more content to flesh out the world,
Yeah.
you know, because the first iteration it was so hollow,
Yeah.
it was like
Yeah.
nothing, and basically these buggy, randomly generated planets where, yeah, you've seen the videos,
Yeah, yeah,
we
of
all
course.
have.
I did.
But yeah, I mean, I maybe we should give it a third chance. Maybe I should give it a third chance.
For me, it would be a second.
Maybe.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, at some point, maybe in the not so far future,
Hmm.
within this century at least, I can guarantee
Yeah.
that.
Within this, yeah, because we're gonna get turn into servitors and live forever and play games. So
and produce podcasts.
and produce podcasts. Hopefully, we'll get like more than one listener in like 2,000 years. What do you think?
We'll have paid advertisements by the Imperium. I'm pretty sure that
Yeah,
people will have to listen whether they want to or not.
Will support us. Yeah, they will have to listen. It's going to be broadcast from like propaganda speakers.
Yeah,
mounted on like the church
and like
castle.
Imagine if like in the future everybody has like heads up displays in their eyes, and then no matter what they're doing, you just like it says like add in 3, 2, 1. It's like, hello everybody, it's the Humidus podcast. Interrupting whatever you're doing in the real life. Remember to look at our new episode. If you haven't, if we registered that you haven't watched it within 24 hours, we're gonna forcefully display it on your eye,
on your retina. Yeah, that. Somehow, I don't think that people would genuinely like our show if we did that.
I wonder why. It sounds like a foolproof method.
Maybe it is. Maybe we have to resort to that kind of extreme action.
Yeah.
But for now, it's totally voluntary to listen to our podcast, boys and girls and everyone.
I think we should. We should dub it in binary. That's how we'll get listeners.
Yeah, we need to add like some scrap code so it spreads all over.
Yeah.
Okay, now in all seriousness, because this next topic is a little bit more serious, we're going to talk about the ever-present loot boxes and a small little development that has been, coming up recently in Britain or in the UK.
I mean, we all love microtransactions and RNG.
Oh, yeah, we do. Oh, yeah, we do. We like that dopamine. We want to push that button.
Yeah.
Risk it all for a shiny new skin, boy.
Jesus Christ. I mean,
but yeah.
Am I gonna headline it or?
Yeah, you can just take it away. Take it away.
All right. Well, so some of you might know this, some of you might not, but it's been an ongoing debate whether or not loot boxes in games are to be considered gambling. To us plebeians down on the ground, it seems pretty fucking obvious that it's gambling. I mean, you're paying money for a random chance of something shit or something good. Like,
but you forget somebody's having some interests in maintaining the system, and that's why it's considered a totally legitimate business practice.
They had this excellent word for it or description. It's like, no, it's not gambling. It's surprise mechanics.
They were like, yeah, that's a good term. We're gonna use that. They were having like this meeting. Everybody's like, okay, this think tank, just okay, guys, just make up a good buzzword that we can use. Surprise mechanics.
Subarashi. It's the great surprise mechanics. Yeah. Fuck it, and it seems so friendly and so it's good for family.
It's just so light, Yeah. You get associations of just being at like a, I don't know, theme park or something, and suddenly some surprise mechanics just appears up in your face. Yeah. So
so like the case is that now, at least for the UK House of Lords has declared loot boxes are gambling and must be regulated. Yay, says I.
The DCMS. Yeah, that's kind of the most Empire of Man, kind of the Imperium-ish government in the world right now. Don't you think?
At least in terms of how they name their factions, not factions, but like the different wings.
Yeah, maybe not in practice, but like the kind of aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
It's very reminiscent. And like small like pulpits. You stand on the small little pulpit and just hear me.
Yeah.
Hear me. Order.
What say ye, yay or nay?
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, okay. Let's that's a sidetrack. Okay, so the British the DCMS committee
Well, like,
recommended back in like 2019 that microtransactions and loot boxes were like up for review.
yeah.
And now we see the fruits. And I think it looks like democracy is working. It's not totally corrupt because, these companies probably tried to lobby like shit for loot boxes not to be labeled gambling.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, this whole surprise mechanic narrative, like they use
Yeah.
that for fucking, oh, God. I think it was NBA or something, 2K20, or whichever. It was one of the newest ones, and it's like in the literal fucking trailer, there is a literal fucking slot machine. It's like you see
Yeah.
this basketball player sitting there, and he's like paid up his ass, and he's just like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, this game's so great. Oh look at this, oh look at this, and then it's just like, it's literally a slot machine, like in design too. Like the aesthetic of it is a one-armed bandit, and it's just like surprise mechanics. Gotcha.
Yeah, the surprise mechanics thing is like, did you ever see the movie Merchants of Doubt?
No, I haven't seen that one actually.
Yeah, so the long story short, it's a movie about scientists that kind of tried to were paid by tobacco companies to kind of obscure the truth about cigarette smoking and how
Oh,
dangerous it was.
right.
And it was very effective, and it was a very effective lobby. And the surprise mechanics term, it just smells very much of that.
It smells like tobacco.
Yeah, it smells like tobacco, sour camel or something like that. But
Sour camel.
yeah, or I mean, an old packet of camel.
I think we already have our two first ideas for merch. It's sour camel and surprise mechanics.
Yeah, we need to get some merch going. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we're definitely at that stage.
We're at that stage. Yeah. So, surprise mechanics. It's not going to hold, at least not in Britain. But other countries are very slow to this because microtransactions. I mean, how long have they been in the loop now? Like what, 15 years, something like that?
Yeah, it's been a while already since the whole microtransaction shebang started
Yeah, maybe not.
seeping and like fucking stretching their eldritch tendrils into games.
I remember, rest in peace, Total Biscuit, talking about microtransactions and raving about how bad of a business practice this is. And
Yeah,
I mean, he was totally right even back then, even, and then they were more blatant, at least, and not as
yeah,
refined as
yeah,
they are today, because now they're really almost like algorithmically perfect, hidden here and there, just waiting for a weak moment.
yeah. And I've been following, like, Angry Joe also is very, very vocal about this, and
Mm.
he also has some really, really good points about all of it. And the thing is, like, I've also played some mobile games. I fell victim to Marvel Strike Force for about a
Yeah.
year. It's actually a good mobile game, but it's one of those hero
Mhm.
collectors, right? And
Yeah, but yeah, that's the thing. The game doesn't need to be bad.
yeah,
It actually needs to be good, So a lot of people will play it,
yeah, and
but then they kind of sneak in this little mechanic. Okay, you can grind for 10 hours, but you can also just get it right now.
yeah, just pay $20. You get that character for
Mm,
free. You get it right now.
yeah,
But there are some content creators for that, specifically like Mobile Gamer, Valley Flying, like a couple of
yeah,
them that I still follow even after I quit the game because they're quite entertaining. And the thing is, like,
you're right.
they actually uncovered, or like they were talking about someone had found some, what is it, like, intellectual property right, or they filed like trademark or something for this, how to say, like mechanic that
Mhm.
made it so that like this is getting very hard to describe, but
Yeah.
essentially what it would do is that it would tailor the RNG, the drop rates and such to like it would change it depending on like how much money the player spent and like how much time they had,
Oh
and like so it wasn't really the true numbers after all.
no,
There was a lot
no.
of there's some
It was a
trademarks.
dynamic
Yeah,
kind of probability
yeah.
to cater to spending more.
Yeah,
Whoops.
spending more. And sometimes it wouldn't necessarily always be skewed in the bad way, but the truth, like the end all be all, is still that the RNG isn't always made equal,
No.
and so like it's just there's so much potential to make this fucking shady behind the scenes is what I feel
Uh
like,
huh.
because
Yeah.
a lot of this RNG, like the seed stuff, it just like it lies in the coding, right? I
Yeah.
guess,
Yeah.
and it's so easy to just like fucking hide away all these shady bullshit, and then just like lie about it.
Mm. Yeah. The thing is that they don't really need to kind of be. I mean, that was discovered, but it's just some of this is like AI, machine learning, trying to like optimize for us humans, how to
Yeah,
spend the most amount of money. And AI is very efficient at recognizing what type of pattern humans follow.
yeah,
So it's getting more and more hard to maybe, yeah, the thing with the like the probability, the drop rate or whatever is like it's so blatant, but there are other things, like for instance, right after you lose a match or something,
yeah,
you feel bad, your dopamine levels are blah blah blah, something like that, and then you're presented with this little icon, you know, with the correct color for you to be attentive to it, because that's a factor, and placed in a like space on your screen that is where you're more likely to click on it.
yeah.
Stuff like that you never think about that, but
No,
it is a real factor.
and it is
So
put a lot of thought into, and it's highly
mhm.
manipulative too.
Yeah, and they constantly try to perfect that formula using AI, using experience, and that's what's dangerous. But I mean, it's dangerous in a lot of other kind of internet uh, endeavors, I guess, like
Yeah, yeah,
Twitter and Instagram, and just keep scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. 8 hours of Instagram every day.
yep.
It's the same shit. It's the kind of the same trend, just in a different corner of the internet.
Yeah. Overall, it's such a predatory practice.
Hmm.
Um, I just feel if we're to talk about some like how to say, if we're to talk about some personal experiences with loot boxes, let's say,
Yeah.
um, I have two examples of Call of Duty games that kind of is, you know, acceptable. They straddle the line of acceptable, unacceptable. They're on each
Mhm.
side. So, for example, I thought Call of Duty World War II was absolute horse shit when it came to
Yeah.
loot boxes and all that stuff. Like the drop rates was horrendous and it was just like absolute garbage. And but for Black Ops 3, I didn't mind it so much because there
No.
you earned the points that you could open the boxes with. Um,
Yeah.
you earn coins like by just playing, and you earn it at a pretty decent rate. And if you were good at the game, you'd earn it even faster. And the thing is, like, DLC weapons, they were locked behind loot
Mhm.
boxes, so that was a bit like shady. But the thing is, like, I never paid for any of those, like any credits, any loot boxes in that game, and I still got most of the weapons. Like dropping in the crates, and otherwise I got a lot of pretty cool skins. because all the the base weapons and their attachments and stuff you just got through just the normal way of playing with the weapon, right?
Yeah.
So most of what you would get from the loot boxes is like rare skins for your character, for your weapon, these kind of things. I don't
Mm,
necessarily mind that so much because that means that
no.
when you get a unique skin that has like a 0.1% drop chance or something, um, you know, I'm like, oh wow, I got really lucky and that's unique. Very few people have this.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily
Yeah, I
mind
mean,
that.
no. I mean, that gives, yeah, that's a cool kind of thing. It's always that you need to trust big companies that have shareholders
Yeah,
to be,
consumer
to
friendly.
operate within the ethical limits in this game. That's the like the caveat that's always going to be hard to kind of get past. But I mean, some developers manage to do it just fine, and they
Yeah,
do the balance. And like some items you can purchase, and it's if it's cosmetic and stuff like that, it's I mean, as long as the product is good and
mm,
you know that the price for the game also matches that, because the thing is you're not entitled to anything more than you paid for.
yeah.
So it's a little bit like if you pay a premium for a game, should a lot of the content in the game be locked behind paywalls?
Yeah, and that's a definite that's a definite no no. And
Yeah.
for me, from my standpoint, because once you pay $60, let's say for a game, like full price, I expect that it's a full experience, a full game.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
If they have you know updated new stuff that comes out in seasons, such as let's say in the new Modern Warfare, though the new Modern Warfare doesn't have like loot boxes though, but
No.
um, you know you still get a pretty full game. And the way they do it, like they have this is more on the microtransaction side more than loot boxes, but I just really like the way they do it, because they
Yeah.
have a full game at the premium price. And the other thing is that all DLC, all new weapons, new maps, and updates and stuff is free, but you have this season pass that you can pay like $10 for each season.
Yeah.
And essentially what you get then is a lot of extra stuff like XP tokens, skins, blueprints, like cosmetic variants of weapons, not performance wise, but
Mm.
cosmetic variants. And you get a
Yeah.
lot of stuff for those $10. And I've been actually paying for, I think it's like up to season 4 now. I paid for one of the season passes to get all the premium content. And what happened was you also earn those COD points, the currency, through the premium pass. So
Okay. Yeah. So
yeah,
you can still use that to kind
yeah,
of purchase. Mm.
and that's exactly what I did. I paid for season 2, and essentially what happened was I got enough points to just purchase season 3 by just playing.
Yeah.
And the same goes for season 4. So now, like, I only
Mm.
paid for one of the seasons, and I just got enough points to just continuously pay for the following seasons. And then they have some unique packs and everything like that you can buy, but you get to see everything that's in it, and then you buy that for like small amounts of money. And I think that way of
Mm.
doing it, I'm all for, because then it's completely optional, it's completely transparent, and you already get a huge amount of content for the base price. You know,
Yeah, I agree. I think that there are absolutely ways to do it,
yeah,
and if the players feel that they are treated fairly, like you know, if you get if there's a full release game, you pay $60, you get the experience from that game, and then they want to kind of build on that,
yeah,
maybe 6 months later or something, and release like a season pass or a patch or something that's got a lot of content. I mean, of course they can make you pay for that because that's work.
yeah,
Um, and that's totally fair. I think the thing that's not too fair is more when you know that they have used a lot of time to kind of lock some content behind paywalls
Yeah.
in order to like incentivize you, you to spend the money to get there.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, but some, I mean, Dota 2 does like the international, the compendium. Have you ever seen that concept?
Okay.
So the international is like the this huge tournament for like the best players and the best teams
Mm.
in Dota 2. And everybody playing can buy what's called like the compendium or something. Uh, and a certain percentage of the compendium, the price of the compendium goes to the prize pool
Yeah.
of the international. So the more people buy the compendium, the higher the prize pool gets. And it actually gets, ridiculously large, like in the million class of dollars.
I mean, yeah, they kind of crowd fund the.
Yeah, they basically crowdfund it, but they do it through content. So
Yeah, yeah.
if you do buy the compendium, you get you can watch the live stream, like the highest quality from the international,
Hmm.
and with commentators, professional. Everything's really really well put together.
Yeah.
And then at least the time I bought it, I don't know, I've not been buying it all the seasons, but there was like this progression system where for every match you played, you gathered some type of tokens, and there were like a lot of rewards, but only if you had the compendium, you know.
Yeah.
So just to incentivize you to play a little bit during.
How
And I
much?
think that's how much it was.
Yeah.
I can't really remember, but I think it was a little bit pricey, or pricey. Like maybe $15-$20, something like
Okay.
that. Can't really remember, but it was in that ballpark.
I see. I see. Yeah, but I mean, it's still. I guess since so many people bought it, I guess it's
Yeah, people think
justifiable.
that's totally worth it, but the thing with Dota 2 is that there's like a lot of cosmetic items that you can buy,
Yeah.
and you can get through loot crates and stuff like that. And these items can, be really expensive. And the game has been going for so long, so there's so many sets, like for each of the heroes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But people really, really do love. And if you buy the compendium, you can get like a lot of loot from it. If you're lucky, you can get like for hundreds of dollars
Mm.
worth of loot. So, but that's the gambler aspect of it, because people are like, oh yeah, I can get for hundreds of dollars, putting in my little ticket here, $15,
Jesus.
but $1,000 down the line, possibilities there. I mean, the human mind is very. I read a book once about how the human mind kind of circumvents probability in cases like that. If they
Yeah.
see the positive outcome, they will like always argue. You will argument in your with yourself,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that's a good probability.
Mm.
You will automatically think that you are the lucky one, even though it's like 1 in a 3 million chance that you're
Yeah.
gonna win the lottery prize. You're like, yeah, but I'm special,
Yeah.
I can win it.
And I mean,
Uh,
thus cue the lottery and all that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, just look at the lottery. It's a perfect example of how that mechanic kind of works, and you know, the lottery is so ridiculously profitable
You know,
that you need to kind of a government to mandate, how it's supposed to be run, because it's not good
I mean, speaking of
to have a
that though,
government.
like a prime example of exactly this. Recently, there's this girl at my workplace, and she was telling me how, yeah, I think this was maybe like a year ago or something. She took a week off from work. She literally told her boss, that yeah, I'm just gonna buy a fuck ton of lottery tickets, and I'm gonna win, and I'm gonna not work anymore.
What? What? What are you
Yeah,
telling me?
this
Well,
is
what
this
kind of
is not
lottery tickets? It is like the
the
Norwegian ones.
Norwegian like fucking lotto, you know?
Lotto. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and Viking lotto. Or I guess she bought a bunch of different ones, but they're all under the like the national, the Norwegian
Yeah. It's
lottery.
not like flax like.
No, it wasn't, but it was worse. I mean, because the rates
Yeah.
are even worse on the fucking lottery. And the thing is, like, I guess she's really close to her boss from the way she told it. So the boss was kind of like, "Oh yeah, okay, you do that," and then she didn't really
see,
resign.
see you in a week.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of the impression I got. And he kind of took it as a joke, but she actually went through with it. And she was telling me like, "Yeah, I bought like a bunch of tickets, and I didn't win anything." And I'm like,
Oh
"Bro,
my god.
do you know the rates on that thing? It's like, I think for the first, just for
Are
normal
you?
lotto, where you win maybe like 100 to 200,000 dollars just for your internationals out there. You like, it's not a very, it's not a. If you think of a lottery, it's actually not that big a prize pool. The Euro jackpot is like that. That's a lot of money, but the rates there are
Mm,
like insidiously low.
that is
So
insane, yo.
for the normal lottery, I think like it's something like what, 1 out of 5 or 6 million to win the
Mm-hmm.
first prize.
Oh my god.
and she and she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna win. Just gonna buy a fuck ton of tickets. Like, frequency wins.
Yeah.
And of course she didn't win, and
No.
she blew a lot of money on that. And
Oh my god.
and even if she did
Oh my
win,
god.
it's like, okay, then if you live normally a little bit low key, you can maybe live off that money for a year or two,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
and then you have to work again. So it's just like, what the fuck? And she was telling me this so casually, and
I
I'm just
mean,
like,
to actually have that as a kind of a life plan
yeah,
is mind-boggling to me.
I
You're like,
yeah.
yeah, why do I do this work thing? I mean, I could just I could just use like a $200 to buy lottery tickets and just win, you know?
Yeah,
What?
exactly.
Oh
I
my
mean,
god.
okay, if you buy 200,000 lottery tickets, I'm pretty sure that your chances,
Yeah, I mean,
suddenly they
you'll
don't become so
probably
bad.
win it, and I mean, surely you can lose also, but okay, let's say but then you use like a lot of money and you can still not win, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So you can still be out what like let's say $20,000 or something.
Yeah,
And yeah, you won maybe what a couple of $100.
yeah. Or if you're lucky, maybe $1,000.
Yeah,
Um,
right. But you can still find yourself in that situation. It's not a safe bet. If it
not
was
at
like
all.
that, then the lottery business would be out of money.
Yeah. Um,
So it doesn't work like that. You don't get to win. That's the point.
but dude, the thing is like, okay, so she's an immigrant, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is like, her language ability isn't. I mean, I guess it's right now it's decent, right? But and she's getting better all the time. And but the thing is, like a year ago, I imagine she'd only been in the country for like a year and a half. So I
Yeah.
assume that her ability to attain necessary information wasn't necessarily up to stuff because of language barrier, right? and
Yeah, right, right, right.
and like, so cue this conversation, and I think this was like last week. Um, and I told her like, dude, do you know the percentages, like the rates here? And I told her, and you should have seen her face, man. Like she was
So
clearly not aware of how
so
low
she
the
was
chances were.
like, seriously?
Yeah,
But I mean, the concept of a lottery is like very universal, right?
yeah,
Basically every country and culture, maybe not Islam, but like, gambling's bad, but basically everyone is familiar with the concept, right?
it should be, yeah. But I guess she wasn't aware of the actual rates. And I don't know what her thinking was. I just think maybe it was like momentary lapse of judgment or something. I don't know.
Mm.
That was just fucking funny to me.
Yeah, the if you hate your job, you can always just quit and buy lottery tickets.
Like if she just took that same amount of money and just put it in the stock market, you know,
Yeah,
or
that would be
even
a
like
good
trust or
investment.
in funds or something, all
Yeah, just a regular index trust fund, something like that.
yeah,
Just a calm, a slow investment
yeah.
over 20 years. It would be a really good investment.
I mean,
That
I would
that's
think
what you want to do.
but even if you day traded with stocks, it's your chances would still be if you had a little bit of
Yeah,
like
that's a
knowledge of the market.
lot better. It's a
Yeah,
lot better in terms of making money, but still, day trading. You need to. I mean, you can day trade kind of cryptocurrency and stuff like that because that's a wild west market.
yeah,
But day trading on the like legacy markets, you're never going to win. You can win if you're lucky,
yeah.
and
But
it's a lot easier to be lucky in the stock market than it is.
that's the thing. The rates are still much more favorable than the lottery.
Yeah, yeah, they are much more favorable. Much more favorable. I mean, I've made some money on the stock market.
Right.
Not like a lot, but definitely if you put your money right, you can make some money on the
Yeah.
stock market. Absolutely. And it's fun, it's much more fun. I feel
Yeah.
to kind of be, you feel that you're smart and you kind of get this feeling that, yeah, I'm a good trader, even though
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
yeah.
you were. Let's be honest. Either you were lucky with the investment that you did, or you were lucky with the information that you received prior to how the market reacted.
Yeah, let's say you earn $1,000 through a year, and then suddenly, your Facebook profile says like, yeah, trader, investor, and then you start like posting these inspirational quotes and shit.
Yeah, right. That's the thing I'm talking about here.
Yeah,
You're gonna be like this fucking OG trader all of a sudden just because you. There are a lot of people like that though,
yeah, I know.
and I mean,
This is
uh,
absolutely a stereotype that's real.
and like in like cryptocurrency also, it was a fucking because I was in a little bit in that market early,
Yeah,
and you should have seen when cryptocurrency kind of hit the real the mainstream media or whatever.
yeah,
There was so much chilling and you know kind of self-proclaimed experts that just popped out of nowhere like, hey, crypto nation, this is blah blah blah, your crypto guy, like YouTube channels. And these people were like, they were basically hustlers,
yeah,
giving
yeah, yeah,
people not bad advice, but advice that they were gonna profit from.
yeah. Like,
Basically, like, okay, you have 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, well, let's pitch this coin now.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And you did not put all your money in this coin prior to making this video, right? So, and if you get like 20% of your audience to invest in that coin, you've basically made a good little profit. Then you just sell out.
yeah. And then here's the thing: who can forget BitConnect?
Yeah. What's up? What's up?
BitConnect.
Yeah, that's basically unforgettable.
I think that's where
Now,
that culture kind of peaked. Those hustles.
yeah, it was. You could kind of. It's still a little bit wild west in the crypto world, but not nearly. I mean, all the shit coins just die a lot quicker
Yeah.
on the graveyard. So yeah, the, but it's a wild. I mean, crypto is still a wild market. Very, very unpredictable.
Yeah.
And or maybe not unpredictable, because it's very predictable in terms of like analysis
Yeah.
and technicals, but it's very unpredictable in terms of what you should invest in, because all the like the due diligence, all the concepts for the coins and what they're supposed to do, in a practical world, you never really know what people are gonna kind of trust, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna be a currency for healthcare. There's even like a dentistry. Dent is a dentistry coin. Yeah, you're gonna
Oh no.
dental payments made easy. You know, it's like
Oh,
how did it come to this? When you see that, you're like, what the fuck? What is this?
I don't know
Yeah.
about you,
So
but I'm putting all my money in Dent.
yeah. I mean, for the lulz, and people do that. You know, they gamble with their money for the lulz on the
Yeah,
crypto exchanges because something is pumping right now because it's a ridiculous thing.
yeah,
But that era of pumping and dumping and all that is a little bit, it's not gone, but it's toned down very strongly. It's
yeah,
not at all like it used to be because it was insane. I remember seeing things that had doubled in Satoshi
yeah.
in like maybe a couple of hours. So basically if you put $1 million in, you had $2 million in a couple of hours. But that was only the what value in Satoshi. But parallel to this, Bitcoin could also have a strong growth. So
Yeah,
you could like make even more. You could maybe get like 150% increase on your portfolio in a couple of minutes, or like a couple of hours. So it was insane. But you could also lose everything
yeah.
like in the blink of an eye. So if you were a newbie with like and you jumped on chain FOMO'd in like, oh my god, then then you could lose all your money. So it was a harsh market.
But anyway,
But this is a gaming
yeah,
podcast.
exactly. I was thinking like, all right, we're going off on a tangent, but
Okay, so yeah,
I would
we're
say,
gonna
yeah, it was still
conclude.
vaguely related because it was gambling and all that.
Hmm.
So how do we
Yeah,
tie the knot on this one?
I don't know, but I think that we said what we wanted to say. It can be done, but is it feasible?
Yeah, and
For yeah.
I just hope that this legislation about loot boxes being designated as gambling, I just hope that's I know it's optimistic, and I'm usually not, and probably it's not gonna be that much of a thing. But I just hope that this is the start of like a tightening the noose a little bit, like on the like predatory gambling practices in the gaming industry. And
Yeah, yeah.
I just hope that because now more eyes are on it, and I just hope more governments step in on this and actually force them to tone it down and make it more transparent, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean that's we can yeah, I think that's a good kind of goal to hope for.
Yeah.
If we
So,
can just tone it a little bit down, regulate it a little bit so it's not the Wild West. And yeah, consumers need to be a little bit more protected, I think.
oh yeah, absolutely. Especially, there's a lot of children that have access to all this stuff as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
That's what makes it a little bit like,
That's that's the smoking thing all over again.
yeah,
It's marketed towards children in a lot of cases.
Jesus. Oh well.
So say no to loot boxes and microtransactions, kids. But say yo to say yes to cryptocurrencies.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Come with your with your noob money.
Yeah.
Feed the market. Okay. So I guess we're gonna round it off.
Yep.
Remember to stay humid and
Stay dank. Yada yada does he.